So today I want to introduce the titles listing functionality in KBPlus, and this is accessed either via the Manage menu, and you can see I've got an option to see titles here, or from the dashboard we can go to titles from here. So I'm going to look at the titles for the institution that I belong to, GIST Collections. So just click that link there. And what this does is show us a list of all the titles that are part of and by default current subscriptions. So these are current subscriptions on the 17th of June 2013, and so I'm seeing all the titles that are part of subscriptions that I have, and I only actually have one at the moment that's live in June 2013, and I see the 45 titles that are there. So this is a listing of all 45 titles that I have access to under current subscriptions, and obviously in a typical situation that would be many more titles across many more subscriptions. We can, if we look at the layout here, what we've got is we've got the title of the journal, the ISSN and the EISSN. We've got the earliest date that's included in any subscription I have. So although in this case there's only a single subscription, if I had access, say, to an archive collection and also a front file collection that covered the same title, the earliest date would give the archival earliest date. And then the latest date is either left blank to mean up to the current issue, which is quite standard under front file subscriptions, or would be a specific date. And again, it picks whichever is the latest out of all of the subscriptions which give you access to that title. So again, in the situation of having a back file and front file subscription to the same title, in this case the latest date would come from the front file subscription, while the earliest date from the back file. And then in this final column of the subscription we have the details of the subscription, and here we have if there was more than one subscription which gave us access to this title, we would see it listed, we would see several subscriptions listed here. And I'll show you that in a moment. And we can see this link here links me through to the subscription. So if I want to see the details of my ACS master subscription, I can click on that. So these are my subscription details for this, the normal stuff, when it starts, when it finishes, and all the titles that are in that subscription. And I can go back to the title listing, and if I have a look at the title listing now, then the other link here is the full issue entitlement details. So if I want to see the issue entitlement details within this subscription for this title, I can click on this link, and here I see the full details for that issue entitlement. So not only the full details of the volume and issue that it starts on, but also any coverage notes, coverage details, embargoes, etc. that I might be interested in, linked to the subscription, and details of other places within KBPlus where this title is available. So this is a list of all the packages through which I could gain access to this title if I wanted to, if I had a subscription. So from here I can either click back to go back to the titles listing, or I can go to the subscription from here using this breadcrumb at the top. So this would take me to the subscription details. I'm going to go back to the title listing, so just using the back button in the browser. So the other thing about this is there are a number of filters on this page. So the first one that I've already mentioned is the date. So if I actually want to see all of the subscriptions that I've had access to ever, so not just current on today's date, but all of them ever, I can remove that date and just hit the search button, and that will show me a list of all the subscriptions that I've ever had, so valid on any date. So we've got a lot more titles now. We've got 3,000 titles. And from a wider range of subscriptions. And you can see, for instance, in 3D Research, this title here, that we've had access through two different subscriptions. Now these may be at different times. I'd have to click on them because I haven't specified a date. I'd have to click on the subscription details there to find out when exactly they were valid. But I have had access through 2 different routes to that title over time, and I could put in a previous date here. If I want to specify, say, this time last year, I could put in that date as well. I can filter this by a search term. So for instance, if I want to find a specific title, then I can search for it here. So let's if I just look for it doesn't really matter, but just search for titles with the word applied in, and you can see those. And again, I can blank that out and hit search again to get back to my full list. And then at the top here, we've got some filters that allow us to choose specific subscriptions. So if I only want to see titles from a specific subscription, so maybe I only want to see my BMJ subscription, then I can do that. Or I can filter by content provider, so I only want to see things that have been provided to me by Cambridge University Press. Then I can search for those, and I can see that all of these titles that I got from CUP at some point, and I can filter by the host platform, that's the place it's available online, or by additional platforms. So for instance, the administration platform such as Highwire is a good example of a platform that's an administration platform for many journals, no matter who the content provider. And I can also just reset that by resetting those filters and clicking search. And the final filter I can do is to say I want to see titles with 2 or more linked issue entitlements. This is to enable me to easily see which are the titles in my subscriptions which I have access to from more than one provider. Now, because I haven't specified a date here, we'll find that that's a large number, because obviously over time you'll have access to the same titles through annual subscriptions that build up over time. But if I had specified a date here, then I could see, say, for today, how many titles I had access to through 2 different routes, and I could assess whether that was providing me with good value for money, whether there's any options to cancel one of those subscriptions, etc. So all of the titles in the list now, so I can see that 1600, just over 1600 of these titles I've had access to through 2 different routes over all time. So that's the title listing functionality. The one remaining thing about that is you can always export the results of this. You can export that as a CSV file, or if you were doing some more detailed manipulation, possibly JSON export. But in most cases, if you want to open it in Excel, etc., then CSV export, and that will export the view that you are currently looking at. So it won't export the whole list. If you filtered it, then it will export that current set of the titles depending on that current filter. And that's the title listing. So hopefully that was an interesting introduction to that, and gives you access to able to filter and search all of the titles you have access to, either at a specific point of time or over all time.